You know, when you're in your 20s, you kind of think you're indestructible. But as life goes on, and depending on the kind of job you have, the demands of that job don't change. But your body obviously does, and depending on how you look at the world and how you take care of yourself, well, it can go in a variety of directions.
Hi, I'm Peter Bailey, here with Sam Smith at the Prouty Project, and we're talking with Chef Marshall from the Marshall O'Brien Group. And we're excited to have you here because we're really looking at how we've integrated in our leadership programs your level of thinking around food and nutrition in our leadership programs. You know, we built this program around leading self, leading others, and leading the business. And yet we really wanted people to integrate more understanding of themselves at each of those three levels about everything they're doing. Do you mind talking a little bit more about that, Chef?
Well, a lot of people don't realize that nourishing is different than eating. And if you think about how you show up in life, a lot of times we're sort of on autopilot. And the thing I love about L3 is you really are focusing this awareness on how you show up in these three spaces. So when it comes to eating, you know, most people eat to survive, and you're advocating, and we are advocating people to really be intentional and aware, and so nourishing to thrive is very, very different. And when you nourish, you're going to perform, feel, and look your best. And the thing that's so awesome about the Leadership Center is that they are practicing this level of awareness by having a food philosophy for their program. They're giving these, you know, great, nourishing, delicious foods to their guests, and then the guests have an opportunity to take these key learnings that they're getting, these lifelong lessons, if you will, to bring it back to home, back to their workplace, and that's just from the experience on the you know, shallow surface level of the Leadership Center. And then there's all the pieces that you bring in and tie it all together.
Right. You know, Sam's got something he always says, what I love is, as you do this kind of work, think about how am I noticing myself in my own behavior? Can you speak to that too, about that?
Yeah, and I think what you were building on there, and what we believe in terms of leadership, is we got to start at a foundational level. So whether that be around physical nutrition or how I'm developing as a leader, I want to be really intentional. So a food philosophy, or having intention around how I want to show up as a leader, and recognizing the habits that I engage in on a daily basis, whether it's how I show up in leading myself, or how I'm showing up for the team that I'm leading, or building, or coaching, or how I'm showing up just in the business as I lead more strategically and have a greater focus on innovation. Because when I can recognize how I'm showing up and whether or not that's working for me, I can start to make those changes.
Right. You know, the whole thing that we start a lot of this work around is around the emotional intelligence model. But you're kind of talking about nutritional intelligence. Yeah. You know, and so if you think about the four quadrants of the EQ model, it's self-awareness, which you're talking about. We need to start there. Can you help us look at how we need to start with our own nutritional intelligence?
Yeah, you start by recognizing, how do you feel throughout the day? I mean, you know, when you're in your 20s, you kind of think you're indestructible, but as life goes on, and depending on the kind of job you have, the demands of that job don't change. But your body obviously does, and depending on how you look at the world and how you take care of yourself, well, it can go in a variety of directions. So you start thinking to yourself, how do I truly feel throughout the day? Do I have enough energy to get throughout the day? Am I going home and giving my family what's left of me versus what's best of me? You know, see that. And that's a great starting point. And then based on where you fit in that, fit on that, then you start chipping away at it. And that's what you're providing amongst many, many, many tools and initiatives in your program.
Well, and that fits with our belief that each individual within the cohort is different, is unique. And so we want to set up principles in leadership and best practices in leadership, but then help each of those individuals create their own plan for how they will show up, how they will execute on those principles. Because their specific needs are going to be quite different one from another.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's great. And I love the fact that with the L3 program up at the Leadership Center at Sugar Lake Lodge in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, they really get the idea of supporting us in leadership and in nutrition so that our clients, our people, have a much better, fuller life.
Absolutely.
It's great. Thanks for taking time to talk about this, guys. Yeah.